When it comes to Bangladesh, and Dinesh Karthik briefly touched upon it, we can just elaborate a little bit more. Their home record, certainly something to be celebrated. It's not that you're not allowed to revel in home conditions, you still have to play good cricket. But the real big question is, can they take this home record and translate it to something meaningful overseas? Most importantly, even if you're talking about overseas being next door across the border in India. DK, you touched upon it. And for the health of Bangladesh cricket, they'll want to take this and translate it to say that, can we make it into a knockout game in the World Cup? Can we go beyond that?
Absolutely. I think that is the big question, and time only can answer that. But with the batting, they have the intent. I could see from ball one, even like a Shanto coming in, playing shots. So you can see the intent is there with the batting throughout the innings. The bowling obviously stood tall today. We have to see under more trying conditions. Like I said, in India, when the ball gets a little wet and when the outfield is slightly smaller and faster at times, those are the times your mettle as a fast bowler or a spinner, mentally you get tested a lot. Those are skills that is not acquired easily. In home conditions, it feels a little different. But when there are 50,000 people, not exactly cheering for you, but for the other team sometimes, then is when you're tested mentally. And those are questions, as I said, can only be answered, but they look good for the moment. I think, again, being an Asian team, playing in Asia, if they don't make it to the semi-finals, they would definitely be disappointed, especially with the kind of run they've been having in the recent past. They would definitely fancy themselves to do very well at this World Cup.
Yeah, it's a subtle change in conditions. You'd imagine just it's down the road if you compare Dhaka to Calcutta. You could drive down from one to the other if you'd like to, but the conditions obviously in terms of the way the outfields are set up, the way the squares are, and as DK mentioned, when it comes to the dew in second innings, particularly of matches in the evening.
Yeah, but I feel that this is their biggest chance. Their golden generation will go. How long are Tamim and Shakib going to play on? You've got some young players that have come through. Now, this is for me a breakout series for Mehdi. Because, he's done it in under-19 cricket, but to dominate the way he has, it's not happened for a long, long time. So he's had a dominant series. You still have the likes of Mahmudullah. Mustafizur is coming. Taskin is suddenly a really decent fast bowler who's, they've got. This is a great combination that they have. Post 23, I can't see too much of Shakib. I can't see too much of Tamim. I can't see all these guys, Mushfiqur. They are all going to go out. So then, this is their last big chance in their best format.
Yeah, I think that passing of the generation, what these names that Joy just mentioned would be to Bangladesh, but what Mahela Jayawardene, Kumar Sangakkara were to Sri Lanka a few years ago.
Definitely. I think with every 50-over World Cup, it's generally the end of a few players. And more often than not, the senior players in every country. You will see them moving on because they know the next 4 years, they probably don't see their bodies being ready for it. And you will see players moving on. And we're going to see that a lot in this World Cup. I think at the end of this World Cup, almost every country will have a fair share of 3 to 4 cricketers who have been playing for a long time, generational cricketers, moving on to something that is obviously more interesting and enticing for them, but also giving other opportunities for younger boys. And in Bangladesh, definitely the likes of Tamim, Mushfiqur, Shakib Al Hasan, and Mahmudullah, you might see them just walking into the sunset there, because the next World Cup comes probably after 4 years and they wouldn't be fancying themselves to be around that long. And it's going to happen with a lot of other teams as well. I could name a few, but for the moment, let's stick to Bangladesh. And I feel these 4 cricketers will probably be playing their last 50-over World Cup.